everyone, my name is Z and today we are talking about compositing. So compositing is the art of making a character or something fit into a certain setting, such as a background or a certain point in your story. And there's many ways to do that, from color balance, color correcting, adding highlights and tones, but one thing that can really give a scene some flair is a cool drop shadow. But as usual, there's also many ways to do that. Sometimes to make a scene more powerful, we'll have a very intricate drop shadow, even having a mind of its own. And sometimes you just need a little ground shadow that will follow your character's every move. The big difference between the two is that one of them is literally an animation work that costs lots of money. And the other one is like a 5-cent compositing trick that will save your life. And today we are learning about the super easy way to do a drop shadow. So today I'm gonna take maybe like 3-4 minutes to explain it, but once you're used to it, it really takes seconds to create a drop shadow. And all you need is 3 nodes. Well, 4 if you count your drawing, or like 300 if your drawing is actually a rig, but we'll get to that. So today what you're gonna need is an apply peg transformation. The apply peg is going to need a peg, and you'll need to link that to your character, of course. If you don't know how to use the apply peg transformation, I have a tutorial on it, and you can just go follow it. And then that apply peg transformation, I'm gonna just connect it here for now. We're gonna composite it after. And now this is my character, but remember, this is a rig. So there's one extra step I do need to take for my drop shadow to work, and that is a composite. So I'm gonna add a composite. The shortcut is Ctrl-H, even on a Mac, by the way. And I'm just going to make sure it's a bitmap composite, and then just connect it here. By the way, to connect a node on a wire, you can just press Alt and slide it in, and it will work. So first, I'm gonna show you how to make the shadow shape, and after that, I'm gonna show you how to composite it really quickly. So I'm gonna take this peg, and what I'm gonna do is just take the pivot point and put it down here and just flatten my shadow on the ground. So this is one way to do a shadow. Honestly, it's not my favorite, but when I'm in a really big hurry, I do like to do that because it's easy, it takes 5 seconds, and it's done. The other way to get your shadows is to, instead of using a peg, you can use a Quadmap. So I'm gonna press Enter, and I'm gonna use a Quadmap. So this is a Quadmap, it's very easy to use. I will also link the documentation in the description below, you can go check it out. So then with my Quadmap, to move it, even if I have my transform tool active, I'm not seeing anything, you do need to click on your Quadmap and go get the show control button to actually see something. And then you're gonna see this little interface. Each time you create a Quadmap, no matter what size your picture is, the 4 corner will always be there. And then you can just move these to create kind of a perspective on the floor. So if you move the corner, you move the corners, and if you move the little dots in between these, you can like smack down your shadow like that. And this creates a much more realistic drop shadow than just flattening your peg down, because then you can get some crazy cool perspective, dare I say, on the floor, and it's just better to manipulate it. It's really fun. But like I said, the corners, they don't fit your image. So if you ever want to have the corner fit your image, you can do that. It would be useful if you're animating like a door opening. Like if you had a door drawing, you could put like the Quadmap on the 4 corner to have the door kind of open in perspective. Don't know if that makes sense. It does in my head. So if you ever want to take the extra time to move the corners to fit your image, you can do that. It's super easy. So I'm gonna get my corners, and you can just get your transform tool, press on Control, and then when you move the points to suit, for example, my image a bit better, as long as I don't release Control, I'm moving the points. And then when I release Control, it's going to place my points back to their original position, but it will also distort my image. So, it's great because now it's more loyal to your image, but it also kind of mess it up. So it's give and take. But then it is more easy to just move your picture like that. So yeah, this is the Quadmap node. It's my favorite method of making a ground shadow. Okay, so let's say that this was my lovely ground shadow that is gorgeous and amazing. And what if I want to composite it? So I won't spend too much time on compositing because we're almost out of time already. By the way, if you want to see that in render, and if you want it to actually be a shadow, you will need a color card. Otherwise, your shadow will not have anything to latch on. So just make sure you have a color card, boop, like this. I'm gonna make it a bit less white, maybe like a little gray. Alright, and then all you have to do, if you want this to be an actual shadow, is get a shadow node. Literally, it's called shadow, you can't miss it. And then you press Alt and you just insert it right here. And there you go, you have a drop shadow, fresh from the oven, super easy to do. You can adjust the radius of the shadow here to make it more blurry. You can also change the color of your shadow to something else. Yeah, so that's basically how you would do a drop shadow. Pretty easy, huh? Now, where it actually gets more complicated and more fun is to actually composite the shadow, but that will be for a future video. Alright, so I hope you had fun, and I'll see you again next week. Bye bye!